Okay, so this is chapter 4 of Save the Pearls. It hasn't been a long time at all. Yeah, I just got distracted. They have stuff coming up with my life, all kinds of stuff going on. Crap keeps crappening. Okay. At exactly 0500 hours, Eden's life band communicated Jamal's signal in her head. Her pulse raced as she accepted the connection. She posed seductively, and a distinctive click in her head told her that her hollow image appeared before him, just as his materialized in her room. He flashed that killer grin. So, like, she gets all dressed up. She's not even meeting him in person. Like, I guess I don't understand why that wouldn't happen, but it just seems kind of silly. We're gonna have hologram sex. How's my little bunny? He said. I don't know if that should be capitalized, and also that's a dumb nickname. Jamal, she said. that's not okay. Said her sensors registering the warmth of his arms as they snaked around her. Okay. Austin shot up, growling. She had forgotten about him. It was embarrassing, really, as if she'd trained her dog to hate coals. Maybe he wasn't colorblind after all. Maybe it's because there's a person your dog doesn't know in the room, and your dog is colorblind because he's a frickin' dog. And as long as dogs aren't feeling threatened, they kind of love everyone unconditionally. Don't project your shitty problems onto your dog. It doesn't deserve this. Sorry, she told Jamal. Let me put him out. Ugh, rude. She dragged the stubborn animal into the main room. For Earth's sake, why do you always act like this? She whispered. He whined, but she shut him out. That's so mean! No! Austin's my favorite character, because he's a dog. Come here, pet, Jamal said. She walked towards him, swinging her hips, an inviting smile on her lips. She's got a swing in her hips, a smile on her lips. As head of security, Jamal could scramble signals to hide their illicit date. He murmured, reaching for her again. To her delight, things progressed in the right direction when Jamal kissed her for the first time. His lips were moist and searching. Ew. The heat coming off of his body loosened her limbs. It couldn't be any better if he were actually present. I think it could be, but I don't know. Never kissed a guy. In fact, she heard an internal warning. You're overstimulated, dear. Your blood pressure and heart rate are dangerously elevated. Why don't you cease activity now? Programmed since birth to react, Eden jerked back. You all right? Jamal said. Let's slow down. No, she cried, flinging herself at him. They didn't want her to mate, so they could cut her off, but Eden wouldn't let that happen. Stop with the italicized they. It's just so... It's gross, okay? Whoa, pet, I am receiving dangerous signals. I don't want you to explode. I need you around. No, you do want her to explode, and you don't need her around. You do? You have no idea. Oh, that meant he wanted to pick up her option to mate, right? No, guys are afraid of commitment. I'd be too if you tried to mate with me after the first kiss. He kissed her again, a little too hard, she thought. But who was she to complain? I mean, you do get a choice in that, as much as I hate you. Okay. She could hardly believe her good luck, and yet, right from the start, Jamal had defied her expectations. He had been hired at REA when the former head of security died of an oxy overdose. Moses had always seemed so level-headed, but then you never knew what secrets lurked in a world where even children wore a poker face. He had treated her decently, an exception to the rule. Oh, come on. Of course, she doubted his replacement would be as nice. One day, the security robot had malfunctioned and Jamal stood in its place. Just the idea of a security robot just makes me laugh. Like, security technology, maybe, but just a robot just makes me picture like something just standing there. I think they described it, so, yeah. While he'd studied her data, Eden had stolen a glance at him, Was it the warrior-like tattoo or his dark good looks that had felt threatening? About a 90% mate rate, she'd guessed. Oh yeah, they have all those weird tattoos. He had caught her eye and flashed a blinding grin. Hello there. She'd turned away. They're like communicating telepathically. It's not in quotes, so I guess with the life band or whatever. She'd turned away, faint with embarrassment and fear. I'm Jamal. Nice to meet you. Was he really talking to her? She had glanced around, but there was no one else. What is it, Eden? Don't you like me? Sorry, I just thought of what is it, Aaron. I'm trash. Why would a Cole even care? Or was he mocking her? Speechless, she dared to look at him. Well, am I scary or just not your type? I don't even know you. Her hand had flown to her mouth. When would she learn to keep her feelings to herself? It's not really a feeling, it's kind of a fact. They just met. Obviously, she doesn't know him. But Jamal simply had laughed. A big, easy laugh that had puzzled her. You're an honest girl. I like that, too. Who? What else could he possibly like about her? He had to know she was a pearl. It said so right there on the scanner. Besides, even with the best skin coating, everything about her screamed lower class. And yet, he'd stared at her with an openness that had made Eden blush. No one had ever looked at her for so long or with such sincere interest. She even had wondered if her oxy reserves had bottomed out and she was losing her mind. But her vital statistics were fine. Why, then, had he continued speaking to her in that astonishingly direct way? I get it. You don't think I like your blue eyes, right? You're wrong about that. I thought her eyes were covered up, too. Oh, screw it. Maybe someday you'll let me see the real you, Eden Newman. Eden Newman said she. It was as if he'd peered right inside of her and plucked out her heart's desire. He wanted to see the real Eden, but still capitalized in it. Hate it. She had hung on his every word. All right, I understand you don't trust me. Not yet. Why don't we spend some time together so we can solve that problem? This isn't what you think. I'm different, and I'm going to prove it to you. Okay. The confidence, the bold grin in the way his eyes followed her when she'd exited the gate had dazzled and unnerved her. She'd stumbled into the lab, dumbfounded. Or just dumb. True to his word, Jamal had persisted, and their clandestine visits had begun a few months ago. Now he lay behind her, as amazing as the sight of a lone flower pushing through the baked concrete. He settled back and looked thoughtful as he began. I was thinking about what you said your father always tells you. Wait and see. Maybe the good doctor's onto something. Uh-huh. Eden wanted to talk about their future together, not her father. I mean, look what happened. You got probation? I didn't start it. I'm not accusing you, pet. He tucked her into the crook of his arm. I'm just saying bad news can bring good news. Wait and see. For example, tomorrow night you're off work. His eyebrows arched with anticipation, which means you and I should go to the moon dance. Really? Are you serious? Dead serious. It was all that Eden had hoped for. A Cole didn't take a pearl out in public unless he or she intended to pick up the other's mating option. And what more public event to show his intentions than at a moon dance? By law, everyone had to attend at least 9 a year. What? The Unigov insisted these events reduced the frequent violence that naturally resulted from the crowded conditions in the tunnels. Okay, but I read ahead. They describe it later. I think it's very crowded there. It's like, hey, don't fight. All of you come meet in one space. Yeah, sure. Eden squealed with delight. She could almost picture a white dot on her dusky-coated forehead. Mated and with a desirable Cole. But I'm on probation, she said, suddenly remembering. Bramford hasn't. Jamal lifted a finger to her lips. Who's in charge of clearance? Who's in charge of clearance, baby? Sorry. All right. But tomorrow night my father's experiment takes place. You'll be on guard. I'll put someone else in charge. Take the company craft. Cut out to meet you. Be back in time for the Big Bang. Okay. But I'll have to go alone. The thought terrified her. Doesn't she go a lot of places alone? Okay, whatever. Don't worry, Jamal said softly. As soon as you get off the 1900 transport, I'll be waiting. He cupped her chin and looked deep into her eyes. It's time for Jamal to make a righteous move. Do you understand? I don't understand why you're talking about yourself in third person. She gulped. Yes. Good. He gave her a peck on the cheek. See you tomorrow night, little bunny. That's okay. She reached for him, but he was gone. Stunned, she lay there, going over what he'd said. Time for Jamal to make a righteous move. Her life band tingled again. Eden accepted the incoming signal, thinking it was Jamal, even as she realized her mistake. Instead of his heartwarming face, she saw the dreaded logo of the Federation of Free People, a swirl of black that spun around until it erased a small white circle. Oh no. Quit, quit! It disappeared, but she sat there, reeling. Horrific stories about murdered or missing pearls ran through her mind. Breathe, Eden. She moved robotically to open the door. Austin scrambled to his feet, his soft eyes on hers. At least he'd never be killed because of his color, but she couldn't think about that now. Soon they'd be safe. Oh, buddy, Eden said, hanging onto his neck. Please be nice to Jamal. If I'm lucky, he'll be my mate. End of chapter 4. Thanks for watching.